This program explores integrative approaches intended to support, not replace, conventional medical care. The information presented is for educational purposes only and is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Always consult your physician or qualified healthcare provider regarding any medical condition or treatment decisions. Welcome to the Dr. K Show. I'm Dr. Michael Karlfeldt, naturopathic doctor, author, and founder of the Karlfeldt Center. This is where science meets consciousness and where we explore the ideas transforming health, purpose, and human potential. Each week, I sit down with leading scientists, visionary thinkers, and pioneers shaping the future of medicine and awareness. And now, let's step into today's conversation. Well, everybody, you're going to have to put on the seatbelts, and really, we're going to hit it hard. There's going to be some incredible stories and incredible, this man, JD Tremblay, what he's accomplished, not very many people in the world has accomplished that, and he's a warrior, man of faith, and he's making a tremendous impact throughout the world with what he's doing. JD, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I'm truly honored.
Thank you, Dr. Michael, for having me. I'm happy to be here on this podcast.
Well, so tell me a little bit about yourself. I mean, you here, you're, you're doing some amazing physical feats, and military strategy, is kind of guiding how you're thinking, and you have your Christian faith, being able to kind of move through some of these tribulations, through your hardship. So tell me a little bit about how you moved into this space. I mean, what guided you initially?
Initially, it was about survival. Initially, it was you're 17 years old, you're in the street, and I grew up in a Baptist background. My dad was in the church, my mother served in the church, and I thought I had a great life. Then divorce hit between my parents. It was messy, and both my parents were going through difficult times, so they were unable to take care of us.
Hmm.
And we were four kids, four boys, and one of them had to go. So I'm 17 years old, and I decided to join the military instead of ending up in the street. I'm saying it with a smile because uh, it's God puts you through difficulties to build your character, and then over time you just don't know it. And now looking back, I'm seeing I have different challenges, definitely different challenges, but they're I'm able to sustain more pressure. I'm able to, when I was in Kenya, we were there for 2 months for the philanthropic side of the business Hungry Warrior Academy last year. And so we're out there building water systems and houses for widows and feeding orphans, and we have lots of programs with the Kenyan government and the United Nations. So we're very, very blessed that God is moving through this. All of a sudden, I said to one guy on my team, and mind you, we're there's not a lot of training when you're building a mud hut, and you're not lifting weights, and you're not running every morning, and the quality of food is I'm gonna say mildly different. And quite peculiar over there. We're talking about coming here I call it Americas, like Canada and United States. You're looking at precision hydrations, electrolytes, stress regulation. Like, I have medical grade machines to test all of our clients, and everything is at peak performance for me.
So, did you grow
And
up in Kenya? Did you grow up in United States?
no, I grew up in Canada. So I grew up
Oh,
in the
you grew up
northern
in
part of
Canada.
Quebec. Yeah.
Okay. And so here we are then 7. I want to go back, to 17, and then I want to go back to that Kenyan race because that. So here you are 17. You have a choice either to live on the street,
Yep.
because they
Family
your
situation.
family
Yep.
can't sustain you, or do military. So 17, go into the military. Yeah, tell me a little bit how was that? I mean, how when you first entered into the military, obviously as a 17-year-old, that's a tough thing.
It's difficult. You have no bearings. It's complete survival. You you don't know what life is, and now you have to look at other guys that are grabbing on to anything and trying to make it in life. For some of them, it's onto illegal drugs. To
Mhm.
for some of them, it's on um, cheap dopamine release. I'll call it this way, or women. A lot of them, it's on illegal activities.
Mhm.
And to me, I was blessed, and I thank my dad. Now we have the best relationship in the world for sure. Um, but I thank him a lot for his constant behavior of staying Christian and saying, I know you hate it. On Sunday, I know you hate it. But because you are in my house, we will go to church. It I hated it when I joined the military, but I even in my closet right now, I have all my like my dog tags, and on my dog tags it's written that I'm a Christian, right? So even I was remembering this, but I was a teenager. I wanted to explore. I wanted the adventure. I wanted to survive, and it was more like it was more of uh, it it's a word we can't say on podcast, but it starts with an S and it's unaliving myself. I wanted to delete myself. That's it, right? That's what I wanted to do. It was a deleting of myself. That's what it was. I thought this is the end. And and God just made something out of it. I was thinking that, yeah, I was really thinking it was the end at 17. And then you grow into this structure and you develop these systems. You develop a certain type of mindset. Then you leave the military and then you realize, oh, I can't use this mindset. But when I got to university, which is right after I got to college and then university after my military service to become an integrated engineer, I I was looking at all of these kids and they were just thinking about getting an A grade student or getting all the grades and getting everything on paper, and everything had to be like nothing was practical. And then you get to engineering, and then I'm thinking, well, what's next? What's after engineering? Like, how am I even going to use it? Now I have this degree. So now I go hunt for jobs. I applied. I even reached out to some of my friends that were in school with me. And mind you, integrated engineer, less than 10 university in the world, less than 100 people have this qualification. We're talking all the field of engineering, and then you can specialize. I went to specialize in biomedical. We're looking at a guy who's all the field of engineering. How am I not going to get a job, right? I thought, no. I went to see my friends that we were friends for years, and now they're like the second in charge for an engineering firm. I'm thinking, I'm gonna be getting the job. And again, God closed those doors. He shut those doors. So I started doing ultra endurance events and around the world. And well, the way I funded it was I sold my house. Now I'm not, please, I'm not saying to anyone to go sell their house. This is completely insane. I know it. Uh, it was structured. Okay, it was structured because I placed some. I prayed about it, and I placed some very strategic reasoning. I gave God some uh, not an ultimatum, a way to prove to me that He is in the mix, that this is the way that He wants it to be. So, for example, for the Epic Deca, I said I need 4 people that are fully competent in crewing for me. They need to follow me and understand the structure already of these races, either have done them or crewed in those similar type of events. And I need the money before the race, which I registered for that race. And again, I registered for that race in February or beginning of February, and and the race was in May, and and the race was in May. So mind you that I had already had that structure, and I was already going to a lot of events throughout the year, a lot of Ironman, and that those are the 2 things I told God. I said the crew, and I need the money, and I said to God,
How much was it?
I asked for 60. I asked for 60 grand minimum, a minimum of 60. That's what I said. But
So
then
so 60 grand to do the race?
well, I paid 100, but that's it was yeah, it was $10,000 for just the registration cost. Mind you that it's US, so that's 14 Canadian or a bit more, yeah, but about 14, $15,000 Canadian. Um, then you have to pay for 4 people to get their flight, uh, flying from all different parts of the world to Hawaii. You need to feed them, give them lodging. You need to have the like the food, the lodging, the rental cars. You need specialized nutrition for this race. You need special gear for this race. You need extra sets of this special gear sometimes for this race. You need to test your equipment. So I had to fly to, well, that's what I did. I flew to Texas for 3 weeks.
So explain what's that? What the Epic Deca? What is that? And is that something that a lot of people do, or is it very rare?
The Epic 5 was created by Rich Roll. It's 5 Ironman in 5 days on 5 different Hawaiian islands. There's about 40 people in the world that have accomplished this feat for their 10-year anniversary. So one Ironman is it's 140.6 miles of swimming, biking, and running within an event. So you're doing everything all in one day of 140.6 miles of swimming, biking, and running.
140.6
0.6
miles in a day,
in a day. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and you're doing 5 of those in a row. So in 5 days, you're essentially doing like 900 miles.
Okay, so that's the Epic 5, but I'm leading to it. So
Okay.
that's the event. However, for their 10-year anniversary, they had an Epic Deca, which Deca means 10 in Latin. So now it's 10 Ironmen in 10 days on 6 different Hawaiian islands. There was a doctor in New York that registered for it. They were only taking 10 people. He got hit by a car in October, November. He had to learn to walk again, and it was very difficult for him. It was a difficult time. On and around at the end of January, he posts on Facebook, and I was following him. He posts on Facebook that he's not going to do the Epic Deca. Somehow there's a voice inside of me that says you should ask about the Epic Deca. Ask him if you can take his spot. And I wrestle with this voice, even still to date in some instances. And I said to this voice, I said, I don't have the money. Do you know how much this is? This is $10,000. Do you know who I am? I'm a broke student that just finished his university in integrated engineer. I can't find a job. I And the voice said, just reach out to him and see. So I reached out to him. He said, if the organizer approves it, I'll transfer you my I'll transfer it to you, my registration, but you'll have to pay for it. So I said, I don't have the money, but fine. I still asked the question. So I followed that little voice, and the way I could frame that voice. Okay, I'm writing a book about that right now. Like my second book is going to be about that voice and how to listen to it. The way I could frame it is there's these there's several voices that goes on in your head, okay? And a lot of people and a lot of cartoons would say, well, on one shoulder you have an angel, and on the other shoulder you have a demon. And so the way I can frame it is, if it's contradictory to the Bible, then definitely it's the wrong voice, because it says in the Bible that my sheep know my voice. So you get to learn to know how and what is that voice essentially. And that's how you build your faith, because you're going to keep listening to this voice. I keep asking, well, I asked the organizer, can I can I join the Epic Deca? She said, well, we don't have any data on you. You need to fill out a resume. So I send them. Well, last year I finished an Ironman in 10 hours and some change. I finished these Ultramans and this other Ultraman. And an Ultraman is double the distance of an Ironman in 3 days. So I finished a couple of them and I sent them. They said, yeah, we can do that. Okay, so now everybody's accepted. That's when I said, I'm going to crunch the numbers. So I went pen and paper, just the old style, just putting pen and paper. And I said, okay, it's going to cost approximately $60,000. So God, I need 60 grand. But then I'm 20 grand in debt. So I'm going to need an extra 20 just to repay my debt. So I'm not too. And God already knew that I was going to go to Texas and I'm going to need an extra. And he already knew that I needed sold my house to a ridiculous price. And it was so mind-blowing that the real estate agent called me 2 weeks after the sale of the house and said, you would have lost a huge amount of money. For me, it's a huge amount of money. I never saw that amount of money in my life. I grew up poor, joined the military. I mean, I've never seen that amount of money. So now I'm thinking, well, this is wow. Okay, so I called my dad and I said, well, there's one. So okay, so now we got this, and I needed 4 people. 2 of them were head nurses. Head nurses. A lot of hospitals were struggling to even have nurses. Somehow I have the head ones on the floor. They're seniors. And I have them as crew to go to Hawaii. And I said to many people, not just to them, I said, I even called my dad. I said, I'm paying for flights, I'm paying for food, I'm paying for everything. Like now I'm selling my house. Like this is what there are people that just said, no, I'm not doing it. My dad said no because he's not qualified. So
So
I really got those 4 qualified people. And, I remember telling, the organizer, "Yeah, it's okay, everything is good." She said, "Well, do you have the finances, everything?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, I have everything. I sold my house." And she said, "Oh, you sold your house? Oh, you can't do that. Like, this is way too much for us, so yeah, we're not gonna accept you." And then I laughed, right? So "Haha, yeah, 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 I sold my house. Haha, it's funny, yeah." So she allowed it. She thought it was a joke, and I, I said to God, I'm not gonna say it to anyone, and, I think I've said it to a couple of people, but not on any podcast yet that I've sold my house.
so going back then to, here your Epic Deca, because I
Mm,
I want to make sure that people really can understand, what that was to go through that. So here, we talked about then, doing five, Ironman, but here you're doing 10 Ironman, yeah, 10 days, 10 days total.
yeah,
So, 140, some miles per day for 10 days. So we're looking at 1400. Is that
yeah,
right?
1,406 miles of swimming, biking, and running over all the islands of Hawaii, correct.
And then, yeah, so God provided, God found these people,
Yep,
God set you on, being able to do this. And so tell me, because this obviously was more than you'd ever done before, correct?
correct. Yeah, that's more than anyone has ever done. Like, that's part of history. It's, that was the only time they were doing this race. They're not doing it again, and, so there's only 3 people in the entire world that finished this race. We were 10 registered. I picked the seat for one of the athletes. 6 showed up on the start line, and only 3 finished. Yeah,
And so how, I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, the the defeat. So mentally, I mean, how was it to mentally be able to achieve this?
for me, it was about purpose. For me, it was
What was
you
your
know when they
purpose
say
in
you burn
this?
the boats? I mean, now I can say it because now we're doing better than ever financially, and, but at the time, it was very scary because you're talking about burning the boats. I sold my house. I had no other choice. So, when I got to Ironman 3 on, Kauai, and we ended up in the hotel, and my crew chief, she sat down with me and she said, you're probably, even if you start running right now, you're probably not gonna make the cutoff, and the cutoff is every 24 hours. So you have to fly to the next island, unpack, get everything ready, do the full event, and then pack, go to the next island, and all of this is within 24 hours. Then you do it all over again. So she said, even if you start running now, at the speed you're going, you're probably not gonna finish. So, I told her I must finish. I will try to do it, and I will keep running. And she said, "Why do you have to keep going? Like, you could just rest, and then like, in the morning, you can start with the Epic 5." So the Epic 5 was the 5 Ironman 5. They were starting a bit further than us, so after day 3, they were starting, and then they were doing their 5 Ironman in 5 days. So I could have started with them because they were doing it at the same time as us. It's just that we extended it to 10 for us. Um and I said I did not tell her, I don't know if she knows even today, unless she watches that podcast, that, I sold my house, and I had no place to go. I put everything in storage.
And so what would you, here, I mean, obviously you're doing something that nobody has done before. Yeah, and only 3 in the world now has ever been able to do it. So, at the end of that, yeah, yes, you accomplished this amazing physical feat, but was there I mean, here you are without a house. I mean, did you get your house back after winning? I mean, what else what was it on the other side of that? Was
Ah,
it just glory
I
to
love it.
God that I achieved it?
Okay, my expectation, that's what I lived on, was I was thinking I'm gonna get fame and fortune, and that's what I thought I would get on the other side. After the Epic Deca, I thought, all right, well, here comes the fame. And so I'm looking at my Facebook, and there's nobody that reaches out. So I put something online. People call me crazy, and I'm thinking, okay, well, people are amazed, but there's nothing more. That's it. Like about 40 people just said congratulations, and that's about it. It sounded more like I just said that this was my birthday on Facebook, and people did not remember, and all of a sudden I got 40 people that said happy birthday. That's pretty much what it looked like. Wow. Okay. I did not have an Instagram at the time. I did not have social media at the time. I don't have a system in place. Don't have a book. Don't have all of these things. I'm thinking, well, why am I not having the fame? And there's no prize purse at all. You're not winning anything. So I'm not having any money. I'm not having any house. Like there's nothing. So I'm thinking, all right, well, I'm gonna fly back to Texas and see my friends that I trained with. I thought maybe when I get home, maybe that's gonna happen. So I get home, I meet a guy. Oh, he has so much followers, and I see this guy, and we're talking, and he says, "Well, I'm on a radio show, and I know all these people, and I could put you in front of everybody." And I'm thinking, "Well, this is gonna be great." No, no, no. The guy said, "Your story belongs in a psych ward. You're crazy, and I don't want people to go through these huge events because it can kill them. And a lot of people might push it to a limit where it's way too much, and you're already at way too much. So imagine what other people see it. They might see it as inspirational to get to that next level, try to beat you. So I don't want to help you in conveying your message." Meanwhile, it took me uh, after doing a lot of other races, building these systems. I became a naturopath practitioner. I understand the body much better. I'm now a licensed naturopath. We have medical machines at our center. I essentially took that whole system, and now I'm helping guys achieve peak performances that they never thought would be achievable. We're testing their blood, we're testing all their organs, we're testing their focus. I'm healing people, or giving them ways to heal people, I should say. We're creating more longevity, and here this kid who comes from a poor background is now, I'm seeing my life as one of these fake videos of a coach that is trying to sell his online program, saying, "I started from a humble beginning, and now I'm making millions working only 2 hours per month. I'm about to turn 40 in a few months, and and I'm still racing. I have lots of vitality, and I have I'm still doing these races. I get excited when people thrive, when people so our centers are based on the pillars of physical health and mental health, and also spiritual health, which is at the core of our center, because again, it's the source. It's what carried me through it. Like I said, I would have never imagined. I wanted this life. I really wanted this life, and really, Did I get another house? Yes, yes. I got multiple now. I'm doing very well. Um, I'm single. I like long walks on the beach. Very, 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 very long walks on the.
You'd like to sit by the fireplace and read books and yeah, have yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or
Well,
very long walks on the beach, but then they look at my profile and they say, "Well, we're gonna walk a country if we're walking with you." So
yeah, yeah, we gotta run around Kenya for a moment. So
exactly.
so I wanna go back because I really wanna understand what you went through during that race. Because here, again, yes, I know people think you're crazy,
Yep.
selling your house, doing something nobody's done before. Yes, you've done a few Ironman and you've done that, but here this is beyond that, obviously. So tell me, and you're running, you're on day 3, you were behind, and so you had to catch up. I mean, so tell me a little bit kind of what was going through your mind. I mean, what the physical impact on your body? Help me understand a little bit that fight that you had to go through in order to be able to complete. You're just one out of 3 people through the history of the world that's ever done it. So tell me how it was done and what was going through your head and your body.
For me, it was about creating systems. So I created that before I got into the race. I created essentially a 30-page book where it would outline exactly how I would react based on all of the previous races that I had done. But again, these were baby races in comparison to this. Even they were ultra men. They, I based myself on how I perceived the race. So
Mhm.
how much time it would take me. I analyze how much glucose I needed to ingest for a certain amount of time. The amount of electrolyte, what type of electrolytes I should pick. I analyzed what type of equipment. I made this plan with, again, this engineering mindset. I use the scientific method. That's pretty much what I did.
Mhm.
I made a plan, made a strategy, then created some form of prototype where I would ingest the food or tested the bike because I built my own bike to fit the requirements of that race to have what is practical. And then I implemented it with the Epic Deca. So it was really about creating systems. I think that's what was going to help e everybody achieve their goal is by just following that strict system. For me, eventually, but even if you make the best plans, things are going to work out in ways that, things are gonna unfold differently, and then you'll just have to react in a way that is in alignment either um with your plan, or make sure that at least you have your values rooted in something, because you will overreact in some cases. So for me, at some point when you're running, your IT bands become so tight that your leg is not even able to bend. So I had difficulty running, but when you take a lot of electrolytes and sugar, the sugar hurts a lot of the department where the digestive system is. But for the electrolytes, it retains a lot of water in your body. So um, during the race, it's fine. Your body is still able to move, but it's tight. But once you stop, that's when your body is starting to evacuate and try to filter all of these electrolytes. So that's when your body seizes. So I got some boots and like those hyper ice boots, and I would inflate them and massage my legs every night. But when I finished the third one, were or the fourth one when I finished it, we were about to go to the airport, and we did not have a lot of time to get our flight. I finished really late. To give you an idea, I we were passing by a bar on the fourth one. We were going around a golf course, like a giant golf course, and doing laps. And when I passed by the bar, when I started running, people were going into the clubs and starting to arrive. They were in the parking area, and I was doing my somewhat like near my first lap. And at the end, I would have no. There would everybody would be gone from that bar, and the sun was coming out. So I ran all night. Like I swam, bike, and ran like all 24 hours. Well, not all, but just before it to get to the next island, to get to my plane. I get to the airport, and one of the nurse looks at me, and I'm in pain. I'm trying to walk because now I'm not running anymore. So my brain is telling me, okay, you gotta rest. I'm gonna filter everything. But I'm thinking, no, I gotta get to the airport. And I'm at the airport trying to get to the plane, and I'm walking really slowly in my sandals and my burned face. And one of the nurse says, we have to go. We really, really have to go. And what's at the airport that she knows? She grabs a wheelchair, puts me in a wheelchair. They wheel me to my plane. I get on the plane. We flew. There was a small flight, and as soon as I got to the other side, they told me I got into the crew car. They went to get the car, and then another part of the crew went to get the luggage, and we met at the car. And my crew chief looked at me and she said, "Well, I know you're not gonna quit now. Congratulations, you did it. Here's your prize. There's your bag with your wetsuit, and put it on because in 20 minutes you're starting again." So
So
I
how do you, because you've been done, yeah, essentially you're running and it's like 24 hours, you fly, and then you get to the location, and I mean your body must have just been wasted at that time, and now you're put on a wetsuit, and now you're gonna swim
yeah, I swam without my legs. I swam without my
without your
legs.
legs?
Yep. Yeah, yeah, yep. Yeah, I swam without my legs. I did not flutter kicks, or there was no movement in my legs at all. I just used my arms to swim that 2.4 miles of swimming. That's I just swam with my arms because I wanted to keep my legs fresh when I was hopping on the 112 miles of biking that was coming right after.
So, okay. So here, your arms, obviously, I mean, you've been swimming the days before, so, yeah, they couldn't be that fresh, and
As fresh as
but
possible. Yeah.
compared to the legs, I'm sure they were a whole lot fresher. But so now, you've been swimming just with your arms, which obviously that 2.4 miles gonna take a whole lot longer, and then you get onto the bike. I mean, how were your legs feeling kind of those that first mile? I mean, that must have been grueling.
Yeah, that's when I started taking longer breaks. I remember this one was an hour. Like I took an hour to get change. It just I would take my time and really really recover from the swim, dry myself completely, and then go. Because I was on my third set of blisters at the same place, so my shoes had to be loosened up a lot because not only were they inflated, so they were not even fitting. They were fitting in my shoe, but they were really hurting. And uh, they rubbed a lot, and so I had blisters on one of the Ironman. Then I had a second set of blister because it heals and it pops and then it heals. Then I had a second set of blisters on the same place. And then I had a third set of blisters. And it's after the third set of blisters that I stopped having blisters at that spot. I think it's
And
more like
and
a
and no infection or any, because sometimes, just the infection from the blisters can take you out.
Oh yeah, we there was a lot of things that could have taken me out, like jellyfish, sharks. Yeah, there was a lot of things. Even just the heat uh, could have taken me out. But I had a bag that was for medical, and I had all sorts of creams like polysporin, or I could have put certain like bandages. I had these blister pads. No, I did not have blister pads. That's right. I did not have blister pads. And from now, after that race, I started incorporating blister pads after that race. Um, but for the infection, that's when I started just taking care of you take care of your body. You get to know how your body operate and what's your limit. And for me, that was my limit. It was right after that one. I remember just calling my coach. That was the only time where I said, I don't know if I'm gonna finish. Like this is the do you know what I just lived through? Like even just passing through, it's your birthday, you're going through the airport, like and it was after the fact. And then I'm done to swim, so now there's more. And he said, "Yeah, just do it one step at a time. Now you're doing the bike, focus on the bike, and then after you focus on the run, and then keep going, and then you just tackle them one at a time. Just this is your bike." And just that alone was enough for me. I did not think about quitting. There was no moment where I envisioned quitting because I burned those boats. Like I sold my house essentially. So maybe
Well,
there's
I mean,
gonna be the new idiot.
exactly, it's burning the boat. You're going and you're gonna attack and you're burning the boat, so you have no way of retreating, and that, I mean, and that's a strategy when, now you're just gonna fight harder because you have, there's no option of losing.
Yeah, and I don't recommend it for in some cases or most cases, like selling your house out of a and then I end up down about this. And then we built the Hungry Warrior Academy, and then became a naturopath practitioner. We have amazing machines and ways to heal the body, and the body is an amazing um, I don't want to machine. I want to call it machine. It's
Well, it
such
it it is a, wonderful piece of machinery, that, like, God created. I mean, the intelligence, innate intelligence is amazing. So I apologize because I want to drag you back to the Epic Deca. I know you're in your mind, your battles were after, but
huh?
many people have done those other battles, that you did after, but not very many people have done the battle of the Epic Deca.
Yep,
No,
yeah.
yeah. So so day 5, you're able to kinda go through it. You're doing one thing at a time. When did you, I mean, was it just smooth sailing after? Or, I mean, now when your coach have, coached you saying that, you just focus on one thing, and then when that's done, then you focus on next thing. Was that all that was needed? Or did you hit another kind of point where you said and your body was just, I mean, I'm done?
There was another point. It was at the third one. The third one was a bit like the third seven. Yeah,
Day
7.
7?
Yeah, day 7. Yeah, day 7 was a bit harder. I would say it was smooth sailing after 4 because we got to Lanai, and on Lanai It was there was this kid. It's like God placed him there. There was a kid, uh, teenager, who was with his dad. They owned a fitness gym in Lanai, and never saw the kid again. He was like I said, like an angel to me.
You
He saw me swim. I knew that I was in a mental state where I just needed to be in my zone, and so I did the swim. Again, I'm a strong swimmer, so I finished either first or second. Then I went on the bike, and I was doing laps on the bike because it's a very tiny island. Lanai is very tiny. Then we got to Molokai. Molokai was violent because it was the COVID period. They did not want tourists, so that was not me stopping. Again, it was a different type of stimuli where now you're getting attacked by people with machetes and people getting, yeah, we had I had a truck that passed right beside of me with guys in the back of the cab, and they grab drinks and they would throw them at me while I'm cycling, and they wanted us off the island because it was that era, and with the vaccines and everything, so they did not want tourists to bring in certain problems, so they wanted us off the island. But since we already had it with the government, but then it's a very tiny island, so the chief of police is friend with all these guys, and it's their families. So it's more of a, they want you off the island. Now you're here. How are you going to finish the event without getting injured? And
Mhm.
there's nobody that is going to come to rescue you.
And then let's kind of go to last day. I mean, here you've done 9 days. Yeah, 1 day left. I mean,
Yep.
how where were you at kind of mentally? Because a lot of times when it's kind of right before the goal line is it tends to be almost the hardest. So where were you at mentally at that time and physically?
Oh, I knew I was finishing. I knew I was finishing, and I was excited about it. But at the end of it, they tried to disqualify me because they said it was indecency, nudity, because I peed on the side of the road. But we're talking about uh, the highway on the Big Island. There's no washroom on that entire stretch, and those races are not closed course. They're not gonna close the entire island for you to swim, bike, and run. So I had to evacuate. I went on the side of the road, not towards the traffic, and I went further down, and I just peed. And I admit it. And the organizer said, "Well, this is unacceptable." And I'm thinking, the other two, I'm sure they had to evacuate at some point, and they did not evacuate on themselves. So anyway, I so even then, the mental state was, I'm gonna finish. So even when they sent the disqualification through text, they said JD is now disqualified according to USAT, and then they gave all the rules and all the codes and everything, and they said JD is disqualified. I looked at my crew chief and I said, I'm finishing. I'm on the last island. I had I had less than 60 miles of biking and and a marathon. And I'm doing it, and I'm making history. And who's going to stop me? Even if they said you're disqualified, I said, I'll deal with it after. Like, I don't have the mental capacity. I'm gonna focus on my race. That's even what I said at the beginning. It's what is God calling me to do? Well, God is not calling me to focus and worry about He's focusing on the race, and that's it. And that's what I had to do. So I just said, worst case scenario, we'll go to court because I just spent a lot of money. If they're going to disqualify me and say, I have all the Garmin, I have all the GPS data proving that I did all of the race. I have, and if they're gonna disqualify me for peeing on the side of the road while they did not provide a bathroom, sure I can find a lawyer that can take that deal. So I kept going, and when I got back to the hotel for the run to get change, I met one of the organizer, and he said, "Yeah, I think we overreacted. Just don't talk about it. Just forget about it. It's done. Just finish the race. We're done here." I said, "Good, perfect." So I finished around, I think it was like 4 or 5 a.m. And then I waited 2 hours in the back of a pickup truck eating pineapples with my crew, and then we left. For me, it was just like I just went through all of this. I think the hardest part was waking up the next day, because now you're not eating, you're not going through another Ironman, and you're not swimming anymore. Like, what do you do? It's almost like you lost your job. It's like, and
Yeah, you don't have the same purpose. You don't have,
yeah,
something to go for. Now it's just an empty slate.
nah,
I did all of this. You're thinking of, now I'm going to be famous, but you're not. And, so it's so hard when you don't have something to really fight for and have to create it on your own.
I'm broken. I lost money. I thought it was just a waste, maybe. Maybe it's just a waste. Did I listen well? You get all these doubts in your head. And at that time, see, I don't know if you've seen a case like this. Maybe as a doctor, you've seen that. But I pushed the limits so much that I took a shower, a hot shower, and or I took a cold shower. I like cold showers, and I did not feel it. So I went, okay, well, I went hot. And I went really hot, and I saw my skin becoming really red, but I would not feel anything. So a complete loss of all of my sensory ability. I would feel like if I'm touching a pen, I'm feeling it, but if it's pushed through my skin, I'm not feeling it. Like there's just no pain. It was really, really, shocking. Yeah. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
really,
must
really.
must must have been on. So with kind of in closing, I mean, what are, if there are three things that you've learned from all these different things that you feel is really important for our listeners to really understand, what would those three things be?
The first is values over goals, for sure. Uh, what is your priority in life? So values, definitely. Systems, so creating that system so that you can recreate that in the future. For example, for me, I did it for the Epic Deca. I made a plan, strategized, I created these prototypes, and then I implemented it. And don't get into an Epic Deca tomorrow, please. It's going to kill you, for sure. But I built up to it. So don't try to emulate Paul with his faith. Don't try to emulate all of these heroes of the faith, or even heroes in real life. They built up to it. God led them to this stage. But action is important. It should be implemented. These systems are not just there to inspire you. These conversations that I'm having with you right now should not just be some surface level motivation talk. It should be a call for you to create some drive, some momentum, some actions in your life, whatever it might be. Do a 5 kilometer run. If that's what I have clients, they give me constraints now. You have different actions. Just own it. Own your story. This is my story. This is it. So use that story that we talked about it today. Uh, Again, to create some action in your life so that and reach out to us, please. Go hungrywarrioracademy.com. Reach out to us, even if it's to, and I always say this, if it's to love us and just say, hey, I listened to that podcast. Thank you. And I will, and here's what I've done with my life because I heard that. If you hate me, please reach out for sure. Maybe I have something to change. And if not, that's fine also. Maybe you just have something to say. I love now haters and people that love us. I love everybody. It's fine to me. I'm uh, uh, I'm for Jesus. So to me, I don't even live for myself anymore. To me, I love where I'm at right now. I now have a beautiful house and I'm doing very well in all aspects of my life. I I couldn't even be more excited, and I get even more excited about the other side. But if God wants me to stay here, then well, I'll hold the fort and I'll hold the job for sure. So all the glory to God. I thank you very much for this
Well,
opportunity.
JD, thank you so much. Thank you. And what a powerful story and what an inspiration and thank you for the purpose that you are implementing, the values that you're implementing. So thank you so much for all of this.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Dr. Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you taking the time to invest in your health and your understanding. If today's conversation resonated with you and you're dealing with ongoing or complex health concerns that haven't fully resolved, you don't have to navigate that alone. At the Karlfeldt Center, we take a comprehensive and individualized approach to care. If you'd like to explore working with us, you can learn more and schedule a consultation at thekarlfeldtcenter.com. And if you found value in this episode, I encourage you to follow the show so you don't miss future conversations. Thanks again for being here. I'll see you in the next episode.